Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wealthy Boss Show. We are on live tonight to talk about the biomechanical hazards of too much screen time. Now, for many of us, this can be kind of a scary territory to go to because we know doing business in this day and age, we are on our computers, our devices, our tablets all the time. While we can't necessarily change the fact that we are running our lives and especially running our businesses from our computers and our smartphones, there are things that we need to be aware of, the way that it impacts our health, and then, of course, most importantly, not just bringing that doom and gloom, but talking about some of the ways we can mitigate the damage that it can otherwise cause. So we have a lot to cover tonight, so we're going to dive right in, but first, if you have people that belong to your tribe that you know spend a lot of time in front of screens and you know this could be helpful for them, helping them take care of themselves as they build their businesses without running their bodies down into the ground, go ahead and click that share button and let's dive in. So there's a lot of different things that can be impacted by the amount of time that we spend in front of screens. Tonight we're going to look mainly at three big areas. So the first being what we might call tech neck or text neck, the shoulder and neck issues and some of the wrist issues that can come as a result of just literally spending too much time sitting at the computer. Second, we're going to talk about the way that the screen itself, the light that emanates from the screen, can have some health consequences. And then last, we're going to look at back pain and some ways that we can take care of ourselves when we're sitting all day long. So first, let's talk about some of the actual ergonomic problems of spending too much time in front of a screen. So these can result in things like neck pain, shoulder pain, even some serious hand and wrist issues because we are now spending so much more time on our devices than ever. So the normal human head weighs about 10 to 15 pounds when we are standing upright, just like this. When our chin is parallel to the ground, we're looking straight ahead. 10 to 15 pounds is about the amount of pressure that our body is expecting to hold up. That's what our neck and muscles around this area and our upper back are built to carry. Well, when we look at our phones, I'm talking into my phone or I would demonstrate, but when we look at our phones all day or our tablets or we're staring down, if our laptop is way down on our lap and we're staring down like this, well, that puts a different degree of pressure on the neck. So if we are looking at even a 15% or a 15-degree decline in the neck, that automatically, just that tiny little bit of leaning forward, actually puts an estimated 27 pounds of pressure instead of that 10 to 15 on all of the neck muscles, neck and upper back muscles. It gets really scary if we're looking all the way down. If we are tilted forward at a 60-degree angle, that actually increases the amount of pressure that our neck and back is holding the head up with by 60 pounds. That is phenomenal to me, but by the time you factor in the gravitational pull it takes to hold your head up, your body is absorbing 60 pounds that it does not need, that it was not built to need, and that it certainly has not had time to evolutionarily adapt over time to hold and support. So this can really cause a lot of neck pain. In fact, incidences of neck pain is on the rise, and in a study done by the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, they showed that about 70% of people who frequently use tablets in particular report an incidence of neck and back pain. Now, for whatever reason, we know that this is much, much more prevalent among women. Not really sure why, but the neck and back pain in particular is really an issue. We know that women are not really cut out to be bending forward and holding the arm, lots and lots of stress as we tilt forward and look at our devices. So neck and shoulder pain is a real problem. We'll talk in a bit about some ways you can mitigate that, but your hands are also really impacted by the type of device that you use and the amount of time that you spend on that device. So in particular, smartphones, a lot of tendinitis has crept up. The incidence rate of tendinitis is higher. Also, osteoarthritis has been shown to be higher simply because of these guys, our thumbs. When we're using our thumbs, they're really meant to be, they're designed over time to be more of a clamping action. Now we're going this way with them, which our thumbs are not real great at doing that, and with that repetitive use can lead to things like tendonitis and osteoarthritis, which is really scary. We don't want to be contracting these diseases. We don't want to be setting ourselves up for injury, and we also just don't want to be sore and not really feeling our best. So, and then changing the curvature of the spine, so kind of jumping back into the neck and back pain, that actually impacts the nerve signals, because the natural curvature of the spine, if that gets altered by leaning forward really heavily, that's not only putting neck pain in the picture, it's also actually changing the way that your nerves communicate with your brain. So you're looking at things like headaches, less focus, you're definitely interrupting your brain function when you're leaning really far forward. So let's talk about a few different things that we can take care of to mitigate some of these kind of mechanical problems that come from sitting and using and bending over our devices. So first, simple kind of rule of thumb is you want to make sure that your devices are typically at eye level, or that your head is at least at parallel with the ground. So, your eyes move up and down. You can glance down at your screen, but ideally you want your screens, especially your phones, we're used to bending them down like this, but hold your phone up. It's also not super comfortable, so you're going to probably spend less time doing it. So that's one real quick rule of thumb, that when you're using your device, remind yourself, where is my head? Oh, tilt it up. You can still work on your devices that way, I promise. Another option, if you're really doing a lot of typing, or you need to be doing a lot of texting, or you respond to emails on your phone and you're using those thumbs a lot, you may want to look into a voice to text option to compose your emails, to respond to messages. I know some people that actually will answer all their emails through voice to text. So that's a great option too if you've got a lot of typing to do. I can certainly attest, when I did my meal planning mastery launch a couple of months ago, I did so much typing that month just to get the course together, and there was just so much work like doing this all day. I literally, by the end, my wrist hurt. And so we want to be aware of those things. Of course, we want to monitor our usage as much as possible, but we know as entrepreneurs, sometimes we're just spending a lot of time on the computers. So at least if we're practicing proper ergonomics and taking some care to not incite even more pain, that's going to help us, save us. Certainly massages do help. So when I really had to push it for a whole month and ended up with some of that wrist pain from all that work I was doing on my website, I knew it was time for a deep tissue massage. She really got in there. That really helped undo some of the temporary kind of short-term damage before it really became permanent, and something that is not so easily fixed. So massages are a great, as if you needed another excuse, massages are a great way to mitigate some of that for both the neck and shoulder area, as well as your forearms and wrists. And then finally, yoga can be, of course, a great antidote to relieving some of the strain that you put on both your back and neck and your arms. So those are some of the mechanical problems. Now let's talk about the screen itself. Of course, you can get eye strain from looking at the computer too many times or for too long of a period. You want to make sure that you're getting up and walking around and looking away from your computer. But more importantly, and more dangerously maybe, a lot of people still aren't doing much about the fact that blue light has been shown time and time again, study after study after study. The blue light that is emitted from all screens has a special evil superpower that interrupts our melatonin levels. Now, melatonin is the hormone that's responsible for getting a good night's sleep. It not only keeps you asleep, but it also changes the way that your body will dip into your ideal sleep cycle, so that the type of sleep that you get is the best quality, the most restorative, giving you that better metabolism, healing all of the waste products and removing waste products from your body. So really, really important to note that the blue light that we get from all our devices really does interfere with our sleep, which is critical for every function in our health, let alone just the brain power to be able to make good decisions in our businesses. When we don't get good sleep, we actually change the area, the regions of our brains that we're making decisions with, so that we're not using as much impulse control. We're not making as good of decisions because our brains are actually operating on a less evolved region of the brain when we're not getting adequate sleep. So A couple of things to keep in mind. Of course, sometimes we do need to stay up late doing those last minute projects. Maybe you have a product launch tomorrow and you just got to stay up and do it. Understandable. Let's definitely not make a habit of staying up super late with our devices. Falling asleep with our laptops, of course, is not really good for our health. There are some physical things that you can do to kind of serve as a barrier from some of that blue light. First of all, if you're on your iPhone, I think iPhone has a night, well, I know iPhone has a night mode that you can shift into. I'm not totally sure about Androids. If you're an Android user or Samsung, you'll let us know if you know that you have a night mode option, and that actually changes some of the frequencies that are emitted, which can help a little bit. If you're on your laptop, I actually did this as I was preparing. It's not super late here, but why not? It is evening. So as I was preparing the notes for tonight's show, I just hit that little button to take the brightness of my screen down a couple of notches, which will help a little bit. There are actually blue light special glasses that you can put on. My husband wears these at night whenever he's on the computer, and they're orange, so they actually have the type of frequencies that will counteract some of the blue light. So these are great options for those nights when you know you need to stay up a little bit later than you, or even if you're working at all at night, to just start to wind your body down and tell your melatonin levels it's time to kick in a gear. That can really help with that. But my cardinal rule, my golden rule, and if you've been listening to me for a while, you know, for many reasons, not just for sleep reasons, but also for your mental reasons, I think even spiritual reasons, I think it's really important to turn off all your tech about an hour before bed, unless maybe you're listening to some calm music. So that's really what all the experts suggest as well for managing blue light. We really do need to be winding down those tech devices about an hour before bed so that we're really getting the best quality sleep and that we're falling asleep in a better mental state so that we're not stressing and waking up throughout the night thinking about all of those things that we didn't get to finish that evening. So that's really my golden rule. I know it sounds difficult, but I promise me, I've been doing it for 2 years while working full time, while running a business. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And then finally, we need to talk about sitting and what it does to your heart and to your back. We're mostly going to talk about your back, but real quick, you might have heard the new adage, sitting is the new smoking. Heart disease has a really, really high correlation to the number of hours that we spend sitting. If we're sitting for more than 6 hours a day, which, hand up, I sit like twice that much between my commute and my day job and my business. So, of course, that's many of us. Your risk for heart disease actually substantially increases if you are sitting more than 6 hours a day, even if you're working out regularly. So that's really unfortunate. Of course, the more that you can get up and take walks throughout the day, especially if you're a full-time entrepreneur and you work from home, you have that flexibility to get up and take a walk, 10-minute walk every hour or two. That's really, really going to help. It'll also boost your creativity. So there's a lot of other health reasons to do that. But just know that sitting, of course, can take a toll on your heart. So be aware of that and let that be one more reason for you to build in a little bit more activity throughout your day. But let's talk then about the impact of back pain. So that's something that can impact you instantly, whereas heart disease, you might not notice the effect that it takes for 2 decades. Back pain will feel instantly. And sitting, as opposed to lying prone, we're actually compressing our spines 11 times more through sitting. So what that means is that the discs between our vertebrae get squished, and eventually the spongy discs between them start to wear down. So that can lead to disc degeneration. It can eventually lead to surgery, but always it will lead to not feeling great, not really feeling that full range of motion, maybe feeling stiff or achy, which just isn't a good feeling. It doesn't make you feel like you're at your best. So of course, do as much as you can get up and move around. That's fantastic. If you have the freedom to work at a standing desk, not everyone does. I don't at my job. But at least when you're working on your business, you might consider, even if not a standing desk, just standing up. I have a counter at my kitchen that's really a perfect standing height for me to sit at my laptop. So when I'm working on my business at home, I will alternate between sitting and just standing even up at my counter. That can really help eliminate some of the unnecessary sitting. Now let's talk about a few ways though when you just can't help but sit, because of course that is reality for a lot of us. Let's talk about some ways to counteract some of the pain that you're causing, some of the aches, some of the compression. So I've got a lot for this. Strengthening your abdominals is actually a really big one. When you're sitting, and many people don't think of this for back pain, but when you're sitting, you aren't engaging your core very much, and your hips can also become really, really tight. So by strengthening your core, strengthening your abdominals, and stretching the hip flexors, you're actually really, really going to help your spine be able to properly support itself. If your abdominals are weak, then it really takes the curvature out of the spine. Same with same with tight quadriceps or hip flexors along the front of your legs. They tend to become shortened from a lot of sitting, so we want to make sure that we're stretching those, and that's going to prevent the spine from being changed and manipulated in a weird little curvature that will add to more backache. Another great tool that I like, I'm going to grab it here. It's a little bit of an investment. It's like, I think $50 on Amazon. You can also get it at Whole Foods. The Spook Acupressure Mat. It's like the size of, I don't know, like a floor mat. I really like this. It's an acupressure mat, and it works similarly to the concept of acupuncture, but it doesn't, of course, go into your skin. It just presses so that what it's doing is it's inviting all the blood to circulate into that area, which of course brings healing. And anytime you bring circulation to an area, you're really going to help reduce some of the tightness around there. So that's something that I like. You just lie on it. You can do it before bed. It feels good. And then if that is not maybe in your budget, $50, then you can kind of do the cheap way to give yourself a little massage, which is take a tennis ball, lie down on the ground, maybe on a yoga mat or on your on carpet, maybe not on a bed, that'd be a little bit squishy, but take the tennis ball or a lacrosse ball and reach for those mid-back muscles. Often low back pain is actually caused by tightness in the mid-back. So you can take, hopefully you can see right here, I don't know how far I need to walk away, hopefully you can see me. So about right there, you can actually slide the tennis ball underneath. You don't want to put it directly on the spine, but you can bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, and then just kind of rock from side to side with the tennis ball on one side, just small little movements to circulate that, and then switch it to the other side of the spine. So that's kind of a cheater's way to get a quick massage, or maybe to find a little bit of relief between massage appointments. But one of my best tips for you is to invest in a massage now and then. You know, there's so many reasons, as if you need an excuse besides relaxation, there's so many health benefits to getting massages, especially if we are spending so much time in front of our computers. It's actually going to add up long term to really preventing some of these injuries and long-term conditions that can come about from sitting too much. Finally, I can't recommend yoga enough for taking care of some of these repetitive, straining, compressing positions that we get ourselves into by spending hours and hours in front of the screen. Yoga can help with the neck and back pain that we talked about. It can help with the wrist pain and even strength, building up strength in our wrists. And certainly it can help with low back pain. Just phenomenal results from incorporating yoga on a regular basis. I even find now if I'm only practicing yoga once a week, that doesn't even quite cut it. I need to at least spend 10 minutes or so a few times a week making sure that I'm doing at least my back stretches through yoga. So I have a great option for you for that. I actually have a giveaway for you tonight. I have a special 15-minute gentle yoga video that is specifically for your lower back and hips, which again, as we learned today, both become really tight and compressed as we're sitting and as we are staring at our devices. So I want to invite you to check it out for free. Hopefully you can read this. You just need to text the keyword, and I'm going to hold it up so you can take a screenshot of it, but you want to text the keyword yoga please, so all one word in capitals. So just get out your phone, take a text message, and then you're going to send it to the number 33444. So the keyword is yoga please, all one word, no spaces, to the number 33444. And from there you can follow the prompts to get that free video sent right to you. I would encourage you to try it before bed tonight. See how much better your back feels as you go to bed. You'll probably sleep a lot better too, taking those last final moments to calm down, calm your body and calm your mind. So just to recap, we talked about both the dangers of the mechanics that too much sitting and typing can do to our back, our neck, our wrists, but how we can take care of some of these issues by getting massages, holding our devices up at eye level, and doing yoga, of course, maybe using voice to text. We also talked about blue light, how it interferes with our sleep. So we want to make sure that we're turning the brightness of our screens down. We can shift to night mode. We would ideally be liking to invest in some orange glasses that are made specifically to counter the blue lights if we know that we're going to be spending some time a little bit later into the evening than we otherwise would want to. That can help mitigate some of the damage, and we're going to be trying to turn those devices off at least an hour before bed so that we can really wind down, get that quality sleep that our bodies and our brains need to be sharp for our business. Finally, we talked about the impact of sitting on both our hearts and our backs. We talked about getting up and being as active as we possibly can, maybe standing either at a standing desk or a countertop if that's what you got available to you as you work, at least alternating between sitting and standing. And then we, of course, the massage therapy option, we gave you the Spook mat that you can buy. It's just SPOONK. You can look that up on Amazon. We gave you the tennis ball option for a cheapy mini massage between appointments. And then again, I gave you that free resource. Don't forget to check out that free yoga video. It's a 15-minute gentle yoga video specifically for your low back and your hips. It's really going to make you feel really nice and open before you go to bed. So finally, again, text the keyword yoga please to 33444 to get your hands on that free yoga video, and share this with someone who needs that. We all know people who are hunched over their computers, hustling, really trying to work on their goals, but we want to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies so that they can actually function, our brains can function, and that we can show up, bring our best selves to the work that we do. I'm Mariah Seacrest-Comer. I'm a certified personal fitness trainer, yoga instructor. I also work full-time in an office, so I understand the challenges of taking care of ourselves while we're really hustling, building businesses, some of us with day jobs, and it is my pleasure to be here to support you in the ways that you can take care of yourself, because when you take care of yourself, your business only gets better. I'm here every Tuesday at 5:45 for the Wealthy Boss Show, Mountain Standard Time. I would love to see you next time. We also have a free community for entrepreneurs who are looking to get a little bit healthier, and that can be found at wealthybosscommunity.com. We have daily conversations, daily posts. We encourage each other. We support each other in our intentions to be healthy and be at our best as we're building our dream businesses. I can't wait to see you next time, and don't forget, when you do join, or if you're already a member of the Wealthy Boss community, let me know how the yoga video was for you. I'd love to hear your results with it. That's all for now.